This is the story called The Magic Eggbox, and it was written by my granddaughter May. This was for her to gain her brownie badge for use of imagination. So I'll begin. It was the weekend, and outside it was miserable and rainy. May, her mum, and her dog Brownie were baking, and her mum suddenly realised that she didn't have any flour. "Oh, I'm going to have to go to the shops to get some flour," Mum said, exasperated. May knew that she shouldn't crack the eggs, but she couldn't help herself. So she opened the box. And all of a sudden a rainbow appeared out of the box, and May saw the most wonderful eggs. They were red and green and blue and gold, and round the eggs there was a magical orange glow from a mysterious sun that glimmered all over the box. May slowly took out the blue egg. Holding her dog Brownie very tightly, she cracked the egg into the bowl, and suddenly she found herself in a completely different world. Beside her there was a whirling waterfall. Spinning in her direction, she told Brownie to run, and she held on to him. Mysteriously, when she opened her eyes, she wasn't at the bottom of the waterfall at all, and she wasn't soaking wet. Her and her dog Brownie were back in the kitchen. Her mum still wasn't there. She thought, she's been gone for hours. May wanted to go back to that mysterious world, so she picked out the red egg and she cracked that into the bowl. This time May and Brownie found themselves in a bright, hot world full of apples. There were red apple trees and green apple trees, and an apple tree that was even like a rainbow. Feeling hungry, May and Brownie took themselves off to the shops to buy some apple juice and 2 lovely scrumptious apples, and they ate them and chomped them all up and suddenly found themselves back in the kitchen. By now, May realised that if she cracked an egg, she'd be in a completely different world. This time, she picked out the green egg and she cracked that into the bowl. She found herself in a strange cottage that was sort of all covered with stripes, and there were socks hanging at all the different windows. She turned round and she saw a funny old man sitting in a chair. She looked at his feet, and he had 1 stripy sock on and 1 spotty sock. The funny man was whistling his heart out and singing a funny tune. With a gasp, May found herself back in the kitchen again. Finally, May picked out the golden egg and she cracked that into the bowl. A whirl of gold surrounded her, and she found herself in a magic pool of money. Around her she saw the trees, and instead of leaves falling down, there was money. And there were houses made of golden bricks, and they were all glittering in the sunshine. She saw a wishing fountain, but there was no water trickling down. There was only gold and silver coins splashing to the bottom. May picked up a coin and she threw it into the magic pool. Then she found herself twisting and turning in a deep tunnel till she reached to the top, and she was back in the kitchen. At that moment, her mum walked through the door with the 2 bags of flowers. Brownie came sniffing. He thought she might have brought him a treat, so she dug deep into her pocket and out she brought a bag of treats, and she gave him one. "Let's carry on baking then, May," she said. "I see you've cracked all the eggs." After a couple of hours, May and her mum took the brownies out of the oven, they were twinkling gold and green and red, and on the top were all little blue stars. May's mum didn't seem to notice them at all. But when May saw them, she wondered and gasped, "If I eat these, do you think I'll return to that magical world?" So she picked up a brownie, and with the first bite, whoosh!